While the exact birth date is not precisely known, it is estimated that she was born on March 21, 1522. Her father was the 10th Ottoman Sultan, Suleiman the Magnificent, and her mother was Mehremah Sultan. Mehremah Sultan, who received an excellent palace education under her mother's supervision, was the only daughter of Suleiman the Magnificent to reach adulthood, making her highly cherished by her father. She possessed eloquent speech and beautiful handwriting. Due to these qualities, and being the only daughter to reach maturity, Mehrimah Sultan was greatly loved by her father. After coming of age, she was married to Rustam Pasha, the Bey of Diyarbakir, known for his proximity to the palace. The wedding took place on December 4th, during the circumcision ceremony of Prince Bayezid and Prince Jahan. The ceremony lasted for several weeks, and the marriage was solemnized at the Ibrahim Pasha Palace in Mednik on November 26, 1539. In the following years, Mehrimah Sultan, who worked for her husband's political rise together with her mother Mehremah Sultan, took a close interest in state affairs. With Rustam Pasha's ascension to the presidency on December 2, 1544, this alliance became stronger and began to work on Prince Bayezid becoming the heir to the throne. As a result of these activities, Shahzaid Mustafa, the eldest son of Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, born to Mahidevran Sultan, was executed in 1553. Thus, Prince Bayezid's strongest rival was eliminated. However, the execution of Prince Mustafa, who was loved by both the army and the people, led to an increase in protests against the king. In order to prevent these protests, Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent was forced to remove his son-in-law Rustam Pasha from his position and appointed Gara Ahmed Pasha to his post October 6, 1553. After all these events, in order to prevent the execution of Rustam Pasha, who was seen as a target, his mother Mehremah Sultan wrote a letter to the king, who was in Aleppo at that time, and asked for the forgiveness of her son-in-law. As a result of the efforts of Mehrimah Sultan and her mother Mehremah Sultan, who worked for the restoration of Rustam Pasha for 2 years, on September 29, 1555, Gara Ahmed Pasha was executed and Rustam Pasha was reinstated. After the death of her mother Mehremah Sultan in 1558, Mehrimah Sultan, who gained more influence in the palace, became her father's closest confidant. Mehrimah Sultan, who continued to support Prince Bayezid with her husband Rustam Pasha, began to support her other brother, Prince Selim. After his rebellious behavior and opposition to her father, after the death of Rustam Pasha in 1561, he did not marry again. She was among the most influential women of the palace and harem in the reigns of her brother Sultan Selim and his son Sultan Murad, who came to the throne over the death of her father Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent in 1566. Like his mother Mehremah Sultan, he also wrote letters to the King of Poland, Mehrimah Sultan, who was a very pious and kind woman, built large temples on the coast of Skdar and in Edirnegopi, Skdar Mehrimah Sultan Complex and Edirnegopi Mehrimah Sultan Complex, in order to meet the water needs of the Edirnegopi mansion. He built waterways in the region, and later this water system was named Mehrimah Water. 5. He repaired waterways in Ain Zabi in Mecca, and spent 500,000 gold for this. Mehrimah Sultan, who has great personal wealth, lent 50,000 gold to her brother due to the gift of Julius, distributed on the throne of his brother Sultan Selim. Mehrimah Sultan, who spent the last years of her life in the old palace in Istanbul, died on January 25, 1578, and her body was buried next to her father in the mausoleum of Sultan Suleiman. In her marriage with Rustam Pasha, 2 children were born, Mehremah Khanum Sultan and Sultanzade Osman Bey. 6. His daughter Mehremah Khanum Sultan, was first married by her grandfather Kanuni Sultan Suleiman to Vizier Samiz Ahmed Pasha, T. and after his death to Firuddin Ahmed Bey. At the request of Sultan Murad, Sultanzada Mehmed Pasha, who is from his family, rose to the throne in Sultan Ibrahim's reign. There is not enough information about the life of his son Sultanzada Osman Bey, who was buried in the courtyard of the Mehremah Sultan Mosque in Skdar.